Hi again, I'm Jenyce. So, what does it mean to regulate your nervous system? For me personally, it is using techniques and utilizing mindset to reduce anxiety. Anxiety from things like fear of success, it's a real thing, fear of failure, fear of judgment, and just fear of being seen. Tracy L is a good friend of mine. She is a sought after speaker and coach, and she specializes in changing your mind to regulating your nervous system. In this interview today, Tracy takes me through one of her specialty techniques to regulate my nervous system and focusing on a certain topic that may make me anxious and bringing it down to a level that's controllable. It's called tapping. Stay tuned and watch the rest of this video to meet my good friend, Tracy L.
Hey everybody, my name is Tracy Alephthariadis.
There.
I'm super excited to be here with you, Dawn.
Tracy, you are a gifted healer, and I know that your specialty is regulating our nervous system. And I'd love to hear more about your background. You're fabulous in so many ways. We'll just start with that.
All right, so I know that a lot of times when I'm listening to people that I really can identify with what they've gone through. So I'm just going to back up to about, I guess, 5 years ago when I started to develop anxiety and chronic pain. And since then, I've really learned a lot about myself and about my nervous system. And one of the things that I just really want to bring home through this whole conversation is there is no magic pill. Yeah, we have to do the work. And there is a lot of freedom, though, that we can find by actually doing the work. Because what I figured out as I was going through this process of healing myself and not settling for the doctors telling me there's nothing wrong with you, but here, take these pills. All your blood work is fine. And we know that you work out 4 or 5 times a week, but here, take these pills. So as I realized that they didn't have the answers that I needed, that's when I really dug in deeper to really try to figure out what was going on with me. And it was just that my nervous system was dysregulated. And hopefully this will give somebody some hope. Those of you who have anxiety or chronic pain or any chronic kind of condition has to do with your emotions and the different the different the different shit that you're telling yourself. I'm just going to go back to like the shit talker in our brain, where we have these little gremlins inside of us that tell us things that hold us back, actually, that really work to keep us safe. But as we go through this, I want you to realize that we're simply a set of patterned behaviors. And with these patterns, they've helped us learn to cope with the life that we've created for ourselves. So I guess that once I really started to take accountability for my life and slow down, then I realized that I could really transform my life. And as I was doing that, I quit a lot of things. I quit my teaching position. I used to teach high school social studies, psychology, government, economics, all that fun stuff. And I really did love it. But I was ready for a change, obviously. So I quit that. I quit the city. I actually moved out of a larger metropolitan area that I was living in. I was living in Denver, Colorado. And ultimately, then I also quit the relationship that I was in. And all of those things were contributing to these pattern behaviors that I had developed because I was trying to please everybody. So as I discovered just the things about what helped me to feel better, it definitely wasn't those pills. Remember, I was like, here, take these pills. So when I really slowed down and dug into some of the research around what could help me, and know that it's not that the doctors don't want to help us, it's just that they don't know. They haven't had to go through this, and it's not in their training. And so attacking this from all areas, like through nutrition, through repatterning my sleep habits, through just really getting more in touch with myself, I ended up getting certified in yoga. So I have my 200-hour yoga teacher certification. And so I use a lot of breath work in my own life and also for my clients. But the biggest part of what I learned that helps me is from tapping, from the emotional freedom technique. And that's the biggest part of what I do in my business at this point now. And you've experienced it, Dawn.
I have.
I really would like to hear how you enjoy it, like how it's helped you as well.
Yes, thank you for asking me a question about it. First of all, I want to unpack all the wonderful things that you told us about yourself. And it's so interesting that we are taught in our society over the last several decades that in order to achieve and to be all that we can be, we must hustle. We must work hard. We must put in the hours. We must have the perfect life. We must live in the right place. We must, look good. We must have a high paying job with a title, and we must have a perfect relationship. And we're not told that that's not true until lately. We are learning that we're not a quitter when we make a decision that something isn't working for our unique body and our unique self. And so this is part of being authentic. Part of being authentic is going, okay, I've tried this for a while, and this relationship isn't right for me anymore. It may have been for the time, but it's okay to make that decision. In fact, it's healthy to do that for your own well-being and your own authenticity, because we're really here to be our true self. And yes, Tracy has helped me a lot with that. And Tracy and I do a lot of meetings together because we are friends, because we've created some workshops, and we started with a summit with 11 speakers. That was our reason to become friends. And believe it or not, it actually strengthens our friendship instead of broke us apart. So that's a good sign right there.
Yeah.
And then I joined a program that Tracy offered, and it was there was a lot of tools in there that you introduced to me, Tracy. But one that I really have gotten familiar with because of you is EFT and tapping. And, I'd heard of it and I'd seen it done before. And I thought, yeah, no, I don't get it. So I'm not going to do it. But really, what I gleaned from it is just focusing on ourselves, focusing on an intention, and slowing down. So slowing down is the key to success. Believe it or not, it's the opposite of hustle.
It totally is. And there's so much information out there just in the media and information that comes to us from our mothers, even about how we have to be in the hustle. And now I know better. I know that I don't have to be in the hustle all day long, because that just puts us into this spinning cycle where we kind of end up losing ourselves. And I feel like when we really just slow it down, even when we slow down our talking with each other, that allows us to really tap into the power that we have inside of all of us. Because as we are talking about changing our minds here, and also looking at strengthening our intuition, all of those things happen more readily when we can just slow it down.
Mm. Yes, just can you guys tell that just talking to Tracy calms you? That's been my experience with you, my dear. So why is it important for us to calm our nervous system, Tracy?
Well, when we look at calming our nervous system, there are a couple of things that are happening. And I just want to really tap into the science behind the emotional freedom technique. As a, I don't know, I just feel like the smarter you are, sometimes the more trouble you can get into when you're trying to heal, because you want to know the why behind everything. So I would like to just break it down. Yeah, I'm the same way, Dawn. For those of you out there that are brainiacs that are wondering why it works, like why would it work? And I still, honestly, I think it's kind of freaky that I can touch myself in these different points and that it actually works to do a couple of things. It works to reduce our cortisol levels. And cortisol is that hormone that we have inside of us. Cortisol levels actually peak as we're waking up. It helps to motivate us. And cortisol also in these high amounts, it really starts to help us spin around in our mind, and it makes us feel like we are not able to focus. So they've done tests. They've taken people's saliva before they tap and then tested it after. And it's shown that it really does reduce the cortisol levels in our blood. But I want you to understand that cortisol is something that we need. We just need to regulate it more in a better fashion. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. It also works to quiet the amygdala. And the amygdala is this ancient part of our brain. It's an almond-shaped organ inside of our brain that we cannot, like I cannot reach through the screen, Dawn, and open up your skull and take my instruments and just remove your amygdala, because we also need that. The amygdala is this prehistoric part of our brain that works to keep us safe. But it's the part of our brain that also puts us into fight or flight. And sometimes it doesn't shut up. That's the part of the shit talker I was telling you about earlier, where we just want to get it to where it will calm down and it can realize that we really have control of the situation. And so through tapping, we can really quiet that part of our brain. So there's the first two. The third benefit of EFT that I really like to talk about, and I'll throw in a couple of other ones as well, but probably about 5 years ago, nobody even talked about the fact that you could actually change your mind. A lot of the discussion was around that you are the way you are and you can introduce some new habits. But really what we know now is we know about this word, and it's called neuroplasticity, where we can actually create new neural connections in our brain without even realizing it. And EFT tapping helps us do that even easier than any of the other techniques that I've tried. Even by listening to this conversation between Dawn and I, we are all creating new neural connections where we know that we can change. Whether or not we act on it is, the questionable part. But those three ways: cortisol levels, quieting the amygdala, and creating neuroplasticity. So there are some other things that I'll tell you about, Dawn, but what do you think about those three?
I think it's extremely exciting that we know that we can actually change our brain. We can actually change the way we think. Now, our mind is something different than how we think. Our mind, I believe, lives in our body. We hold that, our old beliefs and stuff in our body. But I think it's really exciting. And I didn't know that it's only been the last 5 years that we've realized that. I know that there's a lot of work out there now because I'm a geek about it. it's exciting to know that I don't always have to feel this way about a certain subject, a certain topic. I can change the way that I feel. Even if I've had major trauma around that, I can train my brain to not make my mind feel a certain way. Do you know what I mean? All of this is connected, and it's all kind of like a chain reaction in our psyche. But I think that's really exciting to know that. So
Yes, super
how
exciting.
it is. And since you've learned all this, how has your brain changed? How has your life changed because of it?
Hmm. Well, I am at this point, I don't have any anxiety except for like just healthy anxiety. I feel like the anxiety that I had allowed to rule my life before, that was something that I learned as a child from my mother and from my grandmother, this is where we learn our patterns. This is where it comes from. So I feel like I'm definitely able to think clearer. I'm able to not feel like I'm about ready to fly off the face of the earth. And I feel like I can just sit with myself and love myself even more than ever before. I don't have any pain, although I will say this, there was a happenstance that came up about a month ago where I was in Denver. I was in the city and I was getting triggered and I could feel these pains coming back. And I was like, no way is this going to come back to me. And there is no way that you can go back to the person you were before because now we know better.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I really realized how much I had grown in using tapping and breath work and just visioning to help myself move out of those patterns that were causing the pain. So at that point, I just really, I went and ate something firstly because I used to just not eat. I used to not do that because it kept me stuck, and that's how I liked it before. But I went and ate something and then I tapped and I really focused on the vision that I had created for myself in my life instead of getting thrown into this story that my brain was making up around the situation. And it's very interesting to look at those patterns that you used to use and how your brain can be like, okay, let's just go back there because that's how you used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that. And it's like a test. So as I look at like tapping and how much it's helped me change and create new neural connections, it definitely works. And it's almost like magic.
Feels like magic because it's a new thing. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
magic. But I see it as, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is my little visual that I have of neural pathways. They're like little tributaries off a river that the more we utilize them, the more the water flows through the tributaries, the deeper they get. And it's almost like it's easy for your tire to fall into that little tread, if you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
of that neural pathway. Although we've already created, like you created new ones that are just as deep, but the trigger kind of sent you over here towards that other one again. And then your tire started to fall in there and you course corrected. And you now that you know better, you can course correct. Yes. Because if
I
once
I
you know
love
it,
what you said.
you can't unknow it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Good. I put it
That's
together
for
right in my
sure.
brain. Good.
Well, and it's just like what you said, Dawn, where if you get a chance to look up, there are videos that I've seen where they actually show it in the brain, making new neural connections. It's almost like it's it is the trippiest thing where you can actually see it making, like reaching out to a neuron over here, and then connecting and then making a new connection. It is crazy. But yeah, you're right. We do have to practice it.
Yeah, that's how you make your little grooves deeper for sure. So, what are some techniques that you're using? Tell us more about tapping and what other techniques can we use?
I really like to use breath work and tapping together at this point. A lot of times when we get focused on even on our phone or on our computers, because we are so focused and so drawn into just learning and being entranced with these devices that we have in front of us, a lot of times we forget to breathe.
Mm.
So, one of the best tips I have for everybody is to just take your right hand and put it over the top of your belly button and just use that as a guide to see if you're breathing into your belly. Because as maybe you know, we shouldn't be breathing up here. This is where we can build a lot of anxiety. And our lungs actually go from here all the way down to below our ribs. It's just practicing that. So when you come across a situation, like if there's somebody that cuts you off in traffic, for example, and you're instantly put into that fight or flight state, you can definitely take your right hand and put on your belly and just breathe, because there is no other option really for you. Your job is to take care of your own nervous system.
Wow. So now all of us know this, so we can't unknow it. So next time I get cut off in traffic, instead of road raging, I'm going to put my hand over my belly button and see where my breath is going. That's really good.
Yeah.
How does this work? How does EFT tapping work? I mean, I know this is what it looks like and I know what it feels like, but what does it do? How does it work?
It works to just really clear out the negative. And it is really almost like magic, because as we feel into how we're feeling now, like if you are interested, we can tap a little bit all together. Even if you're just listening, I know it's going to be super simple for you to follow along. Would that be something that you'd want to do, Dawn?
I would absolutely love that. Yeah.
Um, so EFT also helps to relieve stress, and it transforms pain, not just physical pain, but also emotional pain. And there is this mind body connection that we have. So as you recognize that more and more, I know that there was nothing physically wrong with me, even though the pain that I had all over my entire body was as real as that this desk is brown in front of me. It's just that a lot of times we forget that we have this mind body connection as human beings. And we don't realize that there is no magic switch that we can find to turn it off. But by actually allowing our nervous system to calm down, that's how it really works. And so as we tap on these meridians, like, have you ever had acupuncture done?
Yes.
Okay, the same principles go along with acupuncture, where the Chinese came up with these meridian maps of our bodies, and they know how the energy should be flowing. And with tapping, Gary Craig in the early 90s came up with, it's not very old, but he came up with this pattern of going through and touching these places on our body. So the places that we touch are, we go the karate chop point, then we go to our eyebrow here, to the side of the eye here, under our eye, under our nose, to our chin point, then to our collarbone. And you can do it like this. You're bound to hit your collarbone, or you can tap with both hands. And then also underneath our arm, and then to the top of our head. So those are the places where we're going to be tapping. I will definitely call them out as we go through them. And the tapping script that I'm going to go through with everybody has to do with courage. and just tapping into that, because we've all been through some things in our lives where we need more courage.
Definitely. I could use more
All of
courage
us.
today. Thank you.
Yeah. So as we get ready to tap, just make sure you're in a comfortable seated position with your feet on the ground. And think about just really getting yourself into alignment. If you want to close your eyes a little bit and check in with where you are right now, like how you feel on a scale from 1 to 10. And if you're feeling very flighty or very anxious, you're going to give yourself a number that's closer to 10. And if you're feeling more relaxed, you're going to give yourself a number that's closer to 1. Because we're going to measure after we're done. This is like where you get to be your own guinea pig and see how this really works for you.
Okay. Well, I'm at a 6. So let's see.
Okay. All right. Let's see how it goes. So, in addition to all of the other things I talked about, what tapping can do for you, it helps to increase self-esteem. It helps to clarify your thinking. It brings out positive feelings and it gives you a greater sense of peace. And I like to think about it like visually, thinking about tapping, clearing out all of those negative emotions that we hold. We hold our emotions close to our heart, all the good emotions, all the bad emotions, but tapping helps to clear them out. So we have all this juicy space then open for the good, positive emotions to come in. So if you're ready to begin, Dawn, I'm going to just tell everybody where to tap, but could you also echo the statements that I say?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. And for those of you who are watching or listening, if you could also echo the statements that I say when Dawn says them. And the reason for this is because your brain believes everything you say. Everything. So if you are going through and clearing out these feelings as you speak them, then your brain realizes that you mean business, so to speak.
Hey, so this is part of digging those new neural pathways.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What?
Okay, so on the karate chop point, we're just going to tap here.
So the karate chop point, for those that are listening, is the outside of your hand.
It's that meaty part that's right underneath your pinky finger. So we're just tapping there lightly. And these are light taps, like about the amount of pressure that you would use on your keyboard for your laptop, just really light tap. Okay, so even though I don't feel like I have any courage left, I deeply love myself.
Even though I don't really feel like I have any courage left, I deeply love myself.
Even though I know that it would be easy for me to just go out and buy a bottle of courage.
Even though I know it would be easy for me just to go out and buy a bottle of courage.
Wait a minute, I can't do that.
Wait a minute, I can't do that.
Even though I can't go out and buy courage, I deeply love and accept myself.
Even though I can't go out and buy courage, I deeply love and encourage myself.
That's fine. And accept myself. That's fine.
And accept myself.
Even though I know that I have courage bottled up inside of me,
Even though I know that I have courage bottled up inside of me,
I just have to find out where it is.
I just have to find out where it is.
And I deeply love and accept myself.
And I deeply love and accept myself.
So then we're going to go to the eyebrow point right here. Even though I feel scared and uncertain,
even though I feel scared and uncertain,
I choose to believe in my inner strength and resilience.
I choose to believe in my inner strength and resilience.
To the side of the eye, I know I've been through tough times,
I know I've been through tough times,
but I'm still standing.
but I'm still standing.
Under the eye, and I release the fear and doubt
And I release the fear and doubt
that have been holding me back.
that have been holding me back.
And I just want to remind everybody to breathe into your belly while we're doing this. Don't hold your breath, because clearing out all of these negative emotions takes a lot of energy. So going under the nose, I am strong, capable, and worthy of love and happiness.
I am strong, capable, and worthy of love and happiness.
To the chin point, I am proud of myself for the progress I've made.
I'm proud of myself for the progress that I've made.
To the collarbone, I am tapping into my inner courage and determination.
I am tapping into my inner courage
And determination.
determination. Thank you.
Absolutely. Under the arm, I choose to face my fears
I choose to face my fears
with bravery and grace.
with bravery and grace.
Okay, then to the top of the head, I'm embracing my power
I'm embracing my power
and taking steps toward a brighter future.
and taking steps toward a brighter future.
Okay, back to the eyebrow. Even though I still feel scared about the future,
Even though I still feel scared about the future,
I'm choosing to trust in my strength and resilience.
I'm choosing to trust in my strength and resilience.
To the side of the eye, I'm letting go of my past experiences
I'm letting go of my past experiences
and focusing on my present.
and focusing on my present.
Then under the eye, I'm proud of myself for overcoming the obstacles
Proud of myself for overcoming the obstacles
and the hard things that have come my way.
and the hard things that have come my way.
Under the nose, I am building a life that I love
I am building a life that I love
and that aligns with my values.
and that aligns with my values.
To the chin point, because I am worthy of happiness, love, and success.
Because I am worthy of happiness, love, and success.
And you can smile a little bit when you say that too, because you really are worthy of those three things. To the collarbone, I'm tapping into my inner wisdom
I'm tapping into my inner wisdom
and intuition.
and intuition.
Under the arm, I'm taking action towards my goals
I'm taking action towards my goals
with courage and confidence.
with courage and confidence.
To the top of the head, I'm tapping into my inner strength
Tapping into my inner strength
and my courage
and my courage
to create a life that I deserve.
to create a life that I deserve.
So back to the eyebrow point. I release any doubts and fears
I release any doubts and fears
holding me back from achieving my goals.
holding me back from achieving my goals.
To the side of the eye, I trust in my higher self
I trust in my higher self
to guide me towards my goals.
to guide me towards my goals.
Under the I am fully capable of achieving my dreams and aspirations.
Fully capable of achieving my dreams and aspirations.
Under the nose, I release any past failures.
I release any past failures
Or setbacks that have held me back.
or setbacks that have held me back.
To the chin, I am connecting with my inner wisdom and power.
I am connecting with my inner wisdom and power.
And this is where you should also be smiling to yourself, because you are very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Then to the collarbone, I am releasing any self-doubt and replacing it with self-belief.
I'm releasing any self-doubt and replacing it with self-belief.
Under the arm, I am aligned with my higher self's guidance.
I'm aligned with my higher self's guidance.
And my purpose in life.
And my purpose in life.
And then to the top of the head, I am on the path to achieving my goals.
I'm on the path to achieving my goals.
With courage and grace.
Courage and grace.
Okay, so as we slowly stop tapping, if you'll just take your hands and put them over your heart and think about how, even though I may face challenges on my journey, I trust in my higher self to lead me towards success. I am empowered to achieve my goals, and I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And as you are just relaxing into your new self, now that you've let go of that self-doubt and tapped into your courage, think about where you are on that scale from 1 to 10 now.
I'm feeling like I'm somewhere between a 9 and a 10 right now. It's pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Amazing that we have our own source of healing touch with us at all times.
We do. And I think a big part of with what happens with tapping is we get to really tap into the negative feelings, because so many times I've been told, well, just smile, it'll be okay. Or just get up and go through it.
Yeah, I feel like it's important to identify them.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to like take them out and look at them, because then you realize that they're not even that scary.
Right. Well, and loving all of those darker emotions, that's all part of us. Where when we can really tap into that dark side of us, that's where the power is. Yeah. And when we get to harness that power, it can be very, very empowering for all of us.
Well, a beautiful painting has to have shadow and light in order to pop out and look real and be real. So I
love that.
I can see where the darkness isn't frightening. It is a part of us. And, it's just gotten a bad rap.
Well, I think that it's the lower vibrational emotions that a lot of people try to avoid them, when in reality, I'm thankful that I got to go through everything that I went through, because I wouldn't be here. I would not be sitting here with you, Dawn, if I hadn't gone through all that.
Yeah, well, I'm really grateful. We have a little technical difficulty. It looks like you were frozen for a second, but it was a beautiful pose, so that's good.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what happened, but
yeah, I don't know either.
We are authentic. We are real. So this is the way it goes. But
yeah,
really grateful that we got the whole tapping exercise in before the glitch happened.
Absolutely. So as we go through the rest of our day, I just want you to notice how you feel. Feel how you feel now compared to how you felt earlier today. And just really notice some of the newer actions that you might be taking based on the fact that you've worked on clearing out those negative emotions.
Yeah, so it's not only important to go through this exercise, but to see ourselves being different.
For sure. So if this tap brought up any emotions that you feel like you could journal on, this would be an important time to do that.
Yeah, for me, it was only positive things that came out. So I'm always up for writing down happy thoughts.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So good, Tracy. Thank you so much. So how can people reach you? Are you taking clients nowadays? What do you have going on out there?
Okay, so I run a mastermind for online coaches and entrepreneurs. And in there, we work to build better businesses and to become better human beings as well. And so I do that. I also have a free Facebook group where anybody can join it. Anybody with a Facebook account can join it and they can come tap with us. I tap in there every week on different topics. And I would love to have you join me there. That's called the Alignment Project. And I also do one-on-one coaching with people to help them repattern their entire nervous system and set them up with some really healthy behaviors. Because as I said before, I attacked my anxiety from every door I could open to attack it from. I did that because I didn't want to be stuck at home being sick and alone. And that's just not what my higher self was telling me to do.
Yeah.
So if you're just curious about tapping or your nervous system, reach out to me. Just reach out and let's have a call. And that way you can start to get into this, because I know that even with looking at the fact that there is no magic pill, Dawn, there are very few of us who will jump right into fixing ourselves without knowing a little bit more about it. So I just want your listeners to know that I'm willing to share a little bit more about how it works and just have that conversation with you so you can get more comfortable with what you're trying to create in your world.
Wonderful. And I know that, it's easy to order a book and put it up on your shelf. Even if you read it, it lives up on the shelf. But it's so much more effective to work with somebody like a coach, because you get support, you get a system, and you get accountability, not just a book on a shelf. So it's been an honor to interview you here today on Authentic Living, and my good friend Tracy. We're also going to have your contact information below, your group, as well as your contact information. So we're going to have that available if anybody here
Thank you.
and reaching out to Tracy. And thank you all for listening. Please subscribe and share this video, especially if you know somebody that really would love to learn more about EFT and regulating your nervous system, and just would enjoy spending time with Tracy as well. And stay tuned. Any last parting words that you want to say? Anything I missed, Tracy?
No, I think that really sums it up very well. The other thing I want people to stay tuned for is the next project that you and I are going to do together coming up in November. And so that will be another opportunity for people to really tap into their emotions as we get prepared to move into the holiday season. I know that's what we focused on last year, and I'm super excited to do that with you, Dawn.
Oh, I'm excited too. So stay tuned, everybody. More details to come on that. All right. Thank you all for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time on Authentic Living.
Thank you, Dawn.